Have you ever noticed how some people never say sorry, even when they clearly hurt you? You reply the moment in your head, expecting some sign of accountability. You wait for two simple words that would fix everything, but they never come, and the silence feels heavier than the mistake itself. It feels unfair, confusing, and strangely personal. Psychology says this reaction is not random. Research shows your brain is wired to protect identity at all costs. And for some people, admitting fault feels like losing who they are. So instead of apologizing, their mind chooses defense over connection. Ego, pride, and inner conflict work together inside the human mind. Inner conflict happens when actions do not match self image. Most people want to see themselves as good as reasonable. When their behavior does not match that image, the brain feels stress. The brain does not like this uncomfortable tension, so it tries to remove it quickly, sometimes by changing the story, sometimes by blaming someone else, and sometimes by refusing to apologize at all. To them, saying sorry feels like admitting they are a bad person, and their brain fights hard against that feeling. Psychological explanation number one: childhood and learned patterns. Childhood shapes more than we realize. Research shows that children who were punished harshly for mistakes often grow up fearing blame. For them, mistakes were not safe. Mistakes mean shame. Mistakes mean rejection. So their brain learned one rule very early: never admit fault, because admitting fault once felt dangerous. As adults, that pattern still runs quietly in the background, even if no one is attacking them now. Your brain stores emotional memories deeply, and it reacts before logic has time to speak. Psychological explanation number two: attachment and vulnerability. Psychology says people with avoidant attachment struggle with emotional closeness. They learned to depend only on themselves. They learned that vulnerability feels risky. Saying sorry requires emotional openness. It requires lowering defenses. It requires admitting you affected someone. For avoidant minds, that feel uncomfortable, almost threatening. So instead of apologizing, they shut down, or they minimize the issue, or they act like nothing happened, not because they do not care, but because closeness feels unsafe to their nervous system. Psychological explanation number three: pride and ego protection. Pride can look strong on the outside, but sometimes pride is just fear wearing armor. When someone's confidence is fragile, they protect it carefully. Research shows insecure self esteem often reacts with denial. Admitting faults feels like losing status, it feels like losing power. So the brain activates defense mechanism: denial, rationalization, projection. These are psychological shields. They protect the ego from feeling small. Psychological explanation number four: social image and control. There is also social image. Some people build their identity around being right. They are strong ones, the logical one, the leader. If they apologize, they feel losing authority. Behavioral science shows humans deeply care about status. Status equals safety in social groups. So if saying sorry feels like lowering status, resistance appears, even at the cost of connection. Psychological explanation number five: emotional regulation. Another reason is emotional regulation. Some people never learn how to sit with guilt. Guilt is uncomfortable. It creates heat inside the body, a tight chest, restlessness. Admitting fault increases that discomfort for a moment. Emotionally mature people can tolerate that feeling. Others escape it quickly by denying, by attacking back, or by staying silent. Silence becomes their coping strategy. In real life, this magic looks simple. They change the topic after an argument. They joke to reduce tension. They act normal the next day, as if nothing happened, but your brain feels that gap. Humans naturally seek repair after conflict. Understanding this does not excuse their behavior. It simply explains the mechanism behind it. Their refusal often comes from fear, not strength, from protection, not superiority. Psychology gives you awareness, awareness gives you calm, and calm gives you power. You cannot force someone to say sorry, but you can decide what respect means in your life.